That's what that's what they told me in magic school.
Somebody told you that nobody likes a show off?
Well, it was actually
was it when you were having tapas with Lady Gaga and Sam Kinison in an exclusive speakeasy in Soho?
I tried to work a double name drop into it. Oh, I did work it. It was I was saying to Eily, I pushed Christy Yamaguchi out of the way to talk to Dr. Cialdini. So we have Eily Cartwright on the show. We're going to talk about influence, what it's like to be, behind, beside, and in front of the scenes in the land of influence, and more shenanigans.
Backpack Show.
Yeah, I don't like that one. Let's do the other one.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gorgone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
Nikki Porcher. Nikki Porcher is like skyrocketed with Buy From a Black Woman, the organization, all the coverage she's gotten. She's done campaigns, won awards. Every time I see her in the opener, I'm like, yes.
There she is. It's awesome.
That's the thing. You gotta pluck them before they get too big and have them on the show, or else it's too late.
Yeah.
So I hope
that's how I feel about Eily, because she's going places. She's been places. There's places involved somehow. I want to say really quickly hello to my biological mother and her husband.
Otherwise known as your father.
Father, yeah, that seems to be.
And what about Chloe, your long lost sister?
Hi, Chloe, how are you, Chloe?
And Leslie, your maple syrup dealer.
We have pictures. We have pictures from afar. Hi, Carol. We have pictures of maple syrup in action and small videos, and also a fireplace, which had nothing to do with maple syrup, as far as I know. But I watched it, so I will be putting together a little.
I went like, didn't you just spill a whole thing of maple syrup?
All right,
that's the video that people want.
I did spill a whole lot of maple syrup in my refrigerator. 3/4 of an entire jug of maple syrup, which was not Leslie's maple syrup.
Thank God.
Out, some dude up in New Hampshire. Sorry, New Hampshire. But yeah, that happened. But now there's no use crying over spilled syrup. I already did that a few months ago when I finally cleaned it. Let's grab Eily and ask her some questions about influence. You work with, is it really 20 years though with Dr. Cialdini? Has it really been? That is nuts.
Yeah. I was an undergrad at ASU and was studying archaeology and needed a part-time job. And his office needed a runner, a go-getter, kind of any errand girl, and was perfect for me, and kind of never left.
I was looking at comments. I was looking at comments when you said that, and I think I really heard you say archaeology. Is that true?
Yeah, I actually did. Once I graduated, I left Dr. Cialdini for 2 years, and I did it here in Phoenix and all around Arizona, actually. But if I'm kind of sharing the flesh tone with you guys, and being outside was not very good. So I needed a desk job again. And I thought if I needed a desk job, I would want to work with Bob again.
So sunblock, wow. I mean, that's what I tell everybody.
I had like almost a whole burqa situation in the end going on, and it was not good.
I'm trying to get from like Jurassic Park to like the godfather of influence. Like, you're out there going, I think I found a velociraptor fingernail.
Well,
and you're like,
you made a mistake. That's an archaeologist is human, archaic humans.
Paleontologists would be bones for dinosaurs. That's not even any fun. So you found like dudes' femurs. Okay.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So Mitch says, I've always enjoyed Dr. Cialdini's work. Looking forward to today's chat. I have a question. Did he make you like beg to come back and work for him? Or was he like, all right, you clearly made a mistake. Welcome back to the fold. Like, was it easy or did you have to persuade him?
I did not have to persuade him. I just called him back up, and I was actually started doing substitute teaching to pay the bills. And I wrote to him and said, if you have, I know because he does a lot of writing. I said, do you need any editing, any copy, for me to look over? And he said, oh, of course. So I started doing that. And then he said, you know what, just come back into the office. We want you in a full role. And that was that.
So what does it look like? So that's how you start. It's been 20 years. How did your career develop? And did you make conscious decisions about where you wanted it to go, or did you just follow what was needed within the organization? How did it all unfold?
I just followed whatever they needed. If it was a small group, and so technology arose. Oh, we need someone to figure out Facebook. Oh, we need someone to figure out how to do, Zoom once COVID happened. And so I kind of, anytime there was something that they needed, I would dive in and learn it and help them with that. And so it's had a life of its own. I didn't pick any of it. I didn't have any control.
All through this process, though, I mean, like Mitch was saying, it's different to be a big fan than to absolutely soak yourself in that world 20 years. Like, it's got to be different. Like, there's the things that have to annoy him. There's the things that, like, he has to never want to say again on any stage ever, and so you have to kind of politely nudge a person before they get him up. Like, there's got to be some real meat in that 20 years. It cannot be the same as it was when you started.
I'm laughing because there's binders about what you need to do and not do for some people for whom you may have worked for only 3 years.
I just think that he and I kind of click. I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to want. More than his wife, even. She'll be there and she'll be helping him, and I'll say he needs water. He needs this. He's got to have this on the stage. Come on. And so I'm his biggest cheerleader. As far as things he doesn't want to say, there aren't. I'm amazed that he never gets sick of saying the same stuff.
Because they haven't heard it. There's always people who haven't heard it.
I know. I have to keep telling myself that. I've heard it a million times. And so, but I know that a lot of people, it's their first time. And so he really gets that. And every single time he's passionate when he performs and he speaks. He never dials it in. And he's really hard on himself. He's a perfectionist. And so, I'm kind of a very good detail-oriented person, so I kind of help him out in that way.
Now, you've said that everyone needs to be influential, and that's different than being an influencer, like the way a lot of people think about influencer. So can you kind of unpack what you mean when you say everyone needs to be influential?
Well, in our business lives, we want our boss to say yes to us. We want our colleagues to answer our emails. And then in our home life, you want your kids to put their toys away. You want, your husband to remember dinner next week with
literally anything.
Exactly. And so these are principles that we are already using every day, all of us, constantly. We're just not conscious that they're principles that we're using. And once you are aware of them, you can use them to your advantage. We stress the ethical application, where it's got to be a win-win. What you say has to be truthful, because it is to build a relationship. It's not just to make a sale, to influence someone. You want to build a relationship. You want long-term, because you can make money being unethical using the principles of influence, but it's a one-time shot usually, and people talk and your reputation's done. So, we stress the ethical part of it. But yeah, everybody wants to influence. We all want to hear yes. When you go to Starbucks, if you knew the principles and you were getting along with the barista, you might influence her to get a free caramel shot or for another shot of espresso, like little things like that really make your day, so
right. Stealing from Starbucks is my number one reason for trying to build my own influence.
Yeah, but we all use it, and we're just not conscious of it. And so once you do become aware, I've had relatives and friends where I've been kind of hesitant that I didn't want them to attend the workshops because then they're going to know what I've been doing.
How about situational influence? Like when your kid tells you as the bus is like coming over the rise, hey, there's a bake sale at school and I need a dozen cupcakes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, some of those. Some of these questions. They're obviously the 6 principles aren't going to solve. What we've had people write in that say, "I want to influence my sister to not marry a Muslim," or anything. Just random things that's like, we don't do that. No, that's.
Then you get the sister's letter saying, I got to get my sister to mind her own business.
Yeah. I mean, these principles can be used personally, but what the Cialdini Institute focuses on is primarily in a business sense.
So Carol is pointing out that there's, she did launch where she had to do the same sort of thing over and over and over and over again. And that's what you're getting to here. But now there's kind of interesting new layer to this too with the institute. There's the Influence Institute. There's Bas was going to be on the show. He had something to do last minute, but taking and sort of making a legacy out of it. I mean, that does even more to kind of codify it. What's changed between speeches and books to really trying to build a learning experience around ethical use of these programs?
Well, Dr. Cialdini, he's retired from ASU, and he is, he's very concerned about the world and where it's going and how technology is taking us away from being more human. And he really wanted his message to go on after he's not here anymore. And he thought it was extremely important that it become an institute that's there, that will continue to teach these principles, the research, the emphasis on science. And Bas went through our training to become a Cialdini Method certified trainer. Very, very, very arduous, hard, takes a long time. You study right under Dr. Cialdini. He did that, and in the midst of them doing that, you get to know each other. And Dr. Cialdini really thought that Bas was the one that could take us to that level. He's an entrepreneur. He's very into modern things, technology, what's the latest thing. And that's really what we wanted with the Institute. We wanted to be at the top of the game, and we wanted to bring the best to everybody.
So there's
Speaking
actually
of the best.
I wanted to ask about the course. I wanted to ask about the course because I'm selfish. The link here directs people to a course, and I want you to talk about it because I'm thinking about taking it.
Well, we have several different courses. We have one where you can just be a practitioner, where you just take the course and it's just for you. We have one where you can be a professional, where you learn how to mentor and coach practitioners through the practitioner process. We also have some other courses where it's kind of just videos to watch, mastermind sessions. But what we are offering right now is a 7-day influence course, where for the course of 7 days, you'll get a video every day and a topic, a question, research, new information, something for you to digest. And it's every day for 7 days.
Just give us a little taste.
Well,
Don't give away the store. But
just taste is, we're gonna we have lots of stories on research. For instance, one nugget might be that if you need someone's help with something, it's much better to ask them for their advice than their opinion. When you ask for someone's opinion, they take a step back and they look at you and they project and they give you the information, and there's a distance. When you ask for advice, you bring them in. They're part of the team now. They're helping you. They're invested now in what might happen with this advice. And so you win a partner rather than an adversary.
So I have a bit of a fear, and I don't remember which of the books it in. Maybe it's just in the primary influence book. But there was this thing about like how to spot when people are using these tactics on you. I'm not smart, Eily. Like my memory is like a Teflon pan, and so like I'm thinking about the things I'm thinking about. What I'm least doing is this person a Sith Lord? Like, is there any like early indicators? I mean, I think I have some. I've been in business for decades, so I think I have some skills. But Mitch Jackson is here. He's California's #1 leading trial attorney and also a futurist. How does he know if someone's trying to put the old Cialdini on him? Well, the unethical version.
It must be like playing chess with somebody who knows how versus like somebody who doesn't even know you're playing chess.
Well, for me, the funny thing is I recently just had heating and cooling air conditioner guy here to check my system. And I know there's nothing wrong with it. It's working fine, but they just have to come out as part of your contract to check it. He was trying every trick in the book to get me to get a whole new system. He said, what's going to happen is it's going to go out. It's going to go out in the summer and it's going to be hot. And when that happens, we're going to have so many people. We're not even going to be able to get to you. You're going to have to be sweating. I don't know when we'll get to you. And right now, we are offering $500 off if you do it right now, today. I mean, like the pressure stuff. And that you've only got a short amount of time. I mean, those things just really hit you. I think it hits everyone, even if you don't know the principles. But knowing them, I really just wanted to just grab him and throw him out of the house and be like, you don't know who you're talking to.
I actually closed the door on people before. I'm the worst.
You know who I am?
I mean, literally close the door. Oh, I wouldn't have opened it if I realized you were going to try to sell me lawn care. Sorry.
Well, there's one thing I was thinking about when it comes to influence too, is that sometimes you're influenced by the things your friends like. Like, for instance, I like StreamYard. Want some? You can have your own StreamYard, just like me. No, I just forgot to read this ad at the beginning of the show. See, Brogan.net/StreamYard, get some.
I feel like we'd be remiss if we did not mention the fact that it's International Women's Day and that there are differences in approach when you're a woman influencing a man or vice versa. So what are your recommendations so that women can be more influential? Let's say in the West.
For gosh sake, stop talking. Let the woman speak.
Hello, I am the woman. What are you doing?
I think one thing that women can do is add to your authority. Don't be scared to show you are the authority. Some women feel like they don't want to come on too strong. They don't want to be seen as bold or mouthy. I don't know. And I say, no, show your authority. You've earned it. If you have these degrees, these accolades, and you've earned it, then you need to show it and be proud of it. And authority, sometimes, women just kind of shy away from that one and they don't want to be in that role. And I say we belong there.
They don't want to be bossy, but they're not bossy if they're the boss.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we have a comment. This might Mike Wazowski. Yeah, it did. Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, Mike Wazowski. Sorry.
Mitch says, putting the old Cialdini on you. So true. If you're taking questions, out of all the years of working with Dr. Cialdini, what's the one or two most valuable things you've learned when it comes to leadership and influence?
It would be to make everyone feel valuable and to give them genuine praise when it's due, and to be a role model. Practice what you preach. Don't just say what you want. You have to live it and be that role model. And that is exactly what Dr. Cialdini has been for me. He's a mentor, a friend, a colleague, and he's shown me how to be a good leader with those skills.
Did he ever get you with one of the tricks? Like he said something, convinced you to do something, and then you walk away and go, oh, he got me.
Yeah. I mean, so they'll be like, Eily, that was wonderful. We can't do this stuff without you. By the way, we're going to need an extra hour on Thursday. And I go, okay.
Let me just mark off my calendar.
Age 47, I got you.
Do you adjust
That's
your
funny.
approach depending on so if you're going in blind, let's say, because a lot of times you're in a situation with people you don't know, haven't done like background research on, but you have a goal in mind or something you need to accomplish. How can you be influential in a situation where you don't know what it is that motivates the other person?
Well, if it's like a meeting or something, I generally say winning people over with food at first works as
So
a
true.
gift to start some reciprocity. Everyone, donuts, bagels, coffee, everyone starts to be more friendlier towards you when you're the person that brings that.
The good muffins. Everybody
Yeah.
has one shop in town that has the good muffins.
Pistachio.
I have a real world story like that. So I shouldn't have been here. It was just, I said yes to my friend, John Blue. He runs an agricultural media conference. So it's people who make media for the agricultural industry, which we all forget is like a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like it's some real deal stuff. And this woman was there and she said, I represent the government and 100% of the time my job is to deliver bad news. 100% of the time when I go to events where there's agriculturalists, I have to walk into the room and say, the government just effed you more. And she said, and I have to do it. It is my requirement by law to be there and tell them this. They know who I am. Nobody's super into this. She says, so I do two things. And she was dressed appropriately to this. She goes, I wear a cow costume. And she did. And I bring fresh made brownies. And she says, these hot brownies that I made in my kitchen, not from a mix. And then I tell you awful news. And guess what? I have lots of people who are happy to see me, even though they know that I'm just doing my stupid job that makes their life worse. So
That's awesome.
So that's it. That's it right in premise. So we're getting close to you. And Kerry, you had another one?
I did. A lot of people right now in the tech sector in particular have been laid off and are looking for their next adventure. What are some ways that they can be influential in the job seeking process to help them get that next role?
Well, one of the good things we have, information that helps, is when you're in the interview, say thank you so much for having me. I'm really interested in this company and this job. But if I could just pause for a minute and ask you, what about my resume and qualifications did you appreciate? What was it that made you call me in here for the interview? Then they'll say, well, we can see that you've had years in marketing, that you've got this and the XYZ. You get them to say out loud your good traits. Now, as a human, we have commitment and consistency inside of us. We want to stay true to what we have said. So now they are pretty much your advocate, whereas before you were against each other. Now they've told you all these wonderful things about you. Now you have a better likelihood of having a good interview with that.
I feel like I need to run and apply for a job. Like I feel like I just
Stop. Weirdo.
Listen, I have a question. 20 years of doing this, 20 years of sort of being the wind beneath Dr. Cialdini's wings. That's a lot. What's your reward besides whatever you get paid? Clearly, you get paid a limousine every 4 weeks. What's like the reward for you that makes you go, I can't wait to do this even more. I'm so excited to be part of this institute. This is kicking some butts. What do you got?
Warm brownies, obviously.
Warm brownies.
Well, I'm a student. I love to learn. I love research and I love science. And there's constant research being done, and the principles that we have are growing. There's other aspects we get information on. For instance, right now we're seeing that some principles are more heavily used by young people. Some principles are used more heavily in different countries. So there's just all this new information, and it fires me up, and I get excited, and every day there's something new. And to also know that you're helping people is also very, very, very rewarding. And, I have lots of friends in lots of jobs, and I can say they're not as happy as I am every day when they wake up.
Well, we've got
I have
Kerry?
another question. Sorry. What if, this is my last one, I swear. What if you're in a situation where you know the other person's interests are directly in conflict with yours? Like, for example, you want a raise and your boss does not want to give you a raise because there's a limited pot of money or something. So if you know that that's the situation and you know that you're on opposite sides in terms of interest, how can you then be influential?
Well, in that instance, if there actually is no money that they can afford you, you might want to think of other things you could ask for. More time off, more autonomy, more, you've got to think about what your bargaining chips are in that situation. If money isn't there, but you still want to get something out of it. And if, sometimes influence isn't going to work if there's no money. We had someone who wanted to influence the Prime Minister of Canada to allow some chess players from India and Russia for the World Championship of Chess. And I had to say, there's just really nothing there's political issues involved here. There's allegiances, there's countries, there's politics, so there are sometimes influence isn't going to work, but you've got to know your situation. And if that is the situation, then you might want to leave that job and find a different one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question to think about too, is that if you feel, are there situations where you just realize that there's just not going to be an influence angle for it? Like, how do you know it's like insurmountable? I'm not a supporter of the never give up, never surrender. I think there's times to quit and run and go somewhere else at this. What's the feeling there?
When there's extenuating circumstances like culture, like deep inbred cultures where we had one person who said they wanted to influence their husband to be more modern about women. He wants her in the kitchen. He wants her making babies, and they were in a country.
In the kitchen?
They were they're in a country where those beliefs were really deep rooted, and that's like a religion. I can't change your religion. I mean, if we could, we'd all have a different world. So yeah, you just can't do some things.
I don't know what's going on in the comments.
Eily mentioned Canada in her example. So Canadian people are required by law to say Canadian whenever someone else mentions one. They still pretend like Tim Hortons is still good, but it isn't ever since Burger King bought them. So let's all agree and tip one out for the Tim Hortons. Eily, another thought I was wondering about is, so you've put together so much of this material. You've done a lot of the behind the scenes. You've done a whole lot of editing. Is there it's weird to say because I know there's 6 whole principles and they all work together and all that sort of a thing. Is there like a favorite one above all else? Because I know like with Covey, with 7 Habits, I have my favorites. Do you have a favorite?
I like liking, and I like to, when you don't know someone and you want to, you might have to have a meeting with them or you are going to want to influence them. I love going on social media to try and find commonalities. Did we go to the same school? Do we both like ramen? Do we both like Iron Maiden? And then once you have that information, then go and introduce yourself and bring those things up. I love building the relationship around liking, and I think I just like people. So that one's my favorite.
So if you're listening to 2 Minutes to Midnight while eating ramen at ASU, then we're like going to be pals. Is that how this works?
We are going to be best friends for life.
I'm into it. Kerry, it is International Women's Day. I don't want to get in your way. Anything else? What do you got?
No, I'm good. I was just asking everything I could think of about influence in a very specific situation, because that's when people think about it. It's like when they need a specific thing, how to get it.
I have another question. Because, all right, when I tried to pitch Dr. Cialdini, by the way, any of my friends, including someone who's even a Juris Doctorate, when I know they're a doctor, I can never call him Bob. I have another Bob who's a doctor, Dr. Robert Brooks. He's a leading psychiatrist, psycho, I don't know, whatever. He's a shrink.
He's a leading psycho, so he just said.
He's a Bob, and I can't call him that. I have to call him doctor. when I pitched him for the show, 100% you had to be the person who like fielded the request and dealt it and decided it was worth it and all that. How do you, and I feel like I'm risking setting you up to lots of interview requests, so I apologize ahead of time. How do you parse that? How do you decide this is probably worth his time?
Well, I go through a little checklist. I see how many viewers they have, if it needs to be a lot for Bob's time, and who have they had in the past that is in his space. Do they have scientists? Do they have thought leaders? Or is it just, Joe Schmo that they have on there? So we look at the, also, what is the purpose of the podcast or the interview? Is it, going to be negative or positive? So that has a bearing. And then basically it's just, do they have the numbers and the other names? And I will watch some of them and see if they're a good interviewer, because I don't want to put him through a horrible experience. So yeah, all those factors together.
So you saw that we had a poop doctor on and also Sir Mix-a-Lot. And we're like, yes, this is the show.
If they can talk to a poop doctor, they can talk to anybody.
I was telling my boyfriend last night I was going to be on the show, and I was like, well, how can I get him to be interested in Chris Brogan? And I said, he interviewed Sir Mix-a-Lot. He said, get out. Then we watched the Sir Mix-a-Lot interview, and now he's really excited I'm on here.
I'll tell you what, this will blow his mind. Sir Mix-a-Lot actually texted himself over here from what was that? From a Cheesecake Factory once.
Cheesecake Factory. It was like super late at night for me because I'm a very old man and I'm in my bed and he's like, yo, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I'm trying to think of some cool answer. I'm like, just stuff, nothing I can't put down for a minute. What are you doing right now, Sir Mix-a-Lot? And he's like, I'm just at a Cheesecake Factory. Everybody left and I'm just kind of by myself, just chilling. And I was just thinking about some stuff. And I was like, that's what we're here for. So yeah, I don't know. I think to toot my own horn, I think the reason people say yes to my show ultimately is that I don't have a massive audience. What I do have is I have a lot of empathy. I have pretty good questions. I have a great co-host. I have a real genuine interest in people, and I really warmly want to learn what makes them tick. And to that end, I'm also really good at segues.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Two truths and a lie. I'm giving it to Mitch Jackson because he was so excited to be here. It was a real toss-up, though, because I was going to give it to Jonathan because he hasn't been around in a little while because he's important right now.
It's always nice to see Jonathan.
But either way, you're entitled to a free apple. You can just run into a store, take it, run out real fast, eat it anytime you want. You
got to be quick, though.
You just get it right out there. We have one question that we've asked Sir Mix-a-Lot, that we've asked Butterscotch, International World Beatbox Champion, that we've asked both dominatrixes and nuns alike, and also Horacio Garcia Rojas from the show Diablero on Netflix. We've asked this question. Douche, what goes in your backpack? This can be something physical, like a stick. It can be something metaphorical, like a bone. Now, Kerry, what is something physical you could add to a backpack?
Extra set of teeth. DJ Cumberbund put an extra set of teeth in the backpack because you just never know.
I think that's a good one. What is something metaphorical you might add to a backpack?
Oh, kindness. Ariel Helvetica, burlesque performer, put kindness in the backpack. The Oral Knots, the YouTubers, took something out of the backpack. Ego.
Which is the first.
Mm-hmm.
Eily Cartwright, what goes in that backpack of ours?
I would say dog treats and anything that will help my chihuahuas when I'm out and about with them.
How many chihuahuas are you talking about? How big's the backpack?
Bella, Chico, and
Percy
Jackson from the Olympian, whatever it was called. Mitch thinks this was a great conversation. Wow, that's because we have great guests. So what can I say? I don't want to say that my grandmother was influential, but she did not have versions of this where she tried to say kind and wonderful things. It all really involved how she
because I told you